What is up, guys? Alright, so today I'm going to show you guys how to divide some polynomials, and we'll do that to be able to factor polynomials and find all of the zeros, okay? Or in other words, find the solutions of equations, okay? We're going to get there. We're not there yet, but I'm going to show you the first few steps in that process. So copy this one down and we will begin. Alright, so you're going to take this guy and it's dividing by long division. So this will look familiar. We're going to be doing this long division here of 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x plus 1. And we're going to be dividing it by this, 3x minus 2. Alright, now I don't have a ton of time to show you why this works, but I'll try to do a little example off to the side to show you how it works, okay? What to compare it to, okay? So let's try something like this. If I have, let's see, I'll just do something like this. 537 divided by, I don't know, let's do 5,372, okay? And I'll divide it by, I don't know, I'm just going to try to divide it by something that doesn't go into it evenly, like a 5 right there, okay? Alright, so watch this. The first thing I do is say 5 times what gives me a 5, right? And so you put a 1, and then you multiply the 1 times the 5, and you put a 5 here, right? Okay, so that's the first step. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to look at this first term right here and say 3x times what gives me that 3x cubed, okay? And you're going to say x squared, okay? So if you have 3x times x squared, you get 3x cubed. Okay, and just like here, once you put the 1, you multiply. So multiply x squared times 3x and 3x cubed. Okay, and then you're going to multiply the x squared by the negative 2. Okay, so you multiply this by the entire thing. Okay, so you get minus 2x squared. So minus 2x squared. All right, now looking back over here, then what do? You subtract the 5, don't you? And you get a 0. And then you bring down the 3. Okay? All right, so we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to subtract this, okay? We're going to subtract the whole thing. So if I subtract this entire thing, right, I subtract that, I have to subtract this, so that turns into a positive, okay? So now these cancel, and 4x squared plus 2x squared is 6x squared, all right? And then bring down the minus 7x. Okie dokie. All right, and then we'll go back over to here. Then ask yourself, 5 goes into 3 how many times? Well, 0, right? So 0, okay? 0 times 5, 0. Subtract it, you still get 3. Now bring down the 7, right? Okay, and so now 5 goes into 37, or 5 times what gives you 37? So 5 times 7, right? Okay, 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, so we'll do the same thing over here. 3x times what gives you 6x squared? So plus 2x. So put a plus 2x. Now multiply 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times negative 2 is minus 4x. Okay, now back over here we subtract, right? So you get 2. So subtract that, 2. It turns into a plus. Those cancel, and negative 7x plus 4x is negative 3x. All right, back over here, bring down the 2. Okay, so over here, bring down the plus 1. Okay. All right, and now 5 times what gives you 22? 5 times 4. Okay, 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, and then subtract, and we get 2. Okay, and that's our remainder, isn't it? A remainder of 2. Okay, so over here, 3x times what gives you negative 3x? That's negative 1. Okay, negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. They should always match. And then negative 1 times negative 2 is plus 2, so plus 2. All right. Subtract, so that turns into a plus. Subtract, that turns into a minus. Okay, so those cancel. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And that right there is my remainder. Okay. And over here, let's go back to this. If this is your remainder, okay, if that's your remainder, then we put it up here. I think in elementary school they told you to put R2, but I think in real life, if this is your remainder, you're going to have 2 that's still trying to be divided by this 5. So you put 1074 and 2/5. Okay? Over here, if this is a remainder, it's still being divided by this. So you're not going to put r -1. You're going to put this guy -1 over 3x minus 2. Okay, so you have that -1 over that. Or you could put a plus here if you want. Put a plus here and then put the -1 right there. Okay, that works just as well. All right, dudes. All right, so that's long division. If there were 3 terms, 3x minus 2 plus 5, you'd do the same thing. You'd put like 3x minus 2, like minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. You would still, you know, multiply this guy, then the plus 5. So it's just one extra step. But that's how it works, okay? So there's long division. Let's do this with synthetic division, okay? Synthetic. Sounds like pathetic. Synthetic division. All right, we'll do the same example, okay? 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x plus 1 divided by 3x minus 2, okay? Now, by the way, synthetic division only works if you have binomials, okay? That's a binomial, we're in luck. So only works when dividing by binomials. All right. Oops, sorry. Only works when dividing by binomials. All right, let me raise this up a little bit. Oops. There we go. Hopefully that's better. Okay, killer. All right, so let's do this. So we're going to do synthetic. Now this is, remember that L thing we did? Okay. All right, so we start with the highest exponent you see is x cubed, and we write down the coefficient, 3. Okay. Then the next highest exponent should be a 2, and it is. Okay, so we put a 4. Okay, if there wasn't an x squared, if it went 3x cubed and then straight to the negative 7x, what would we have to put here? That's right, you would have to put a 0 here. Okay, so minus 7 and then plus 1. I guess you don't need to write the plus. All right. Shoot. You know what? I'm sorry. Sorry, we're not going to be able to do this one. I'm sorry. Because this 3 is here, I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to do this. So here's what I'm going to do. I really wanted to compare these two, and I'm not about to start my notes over. So forget it. It was going to be nice because you would see that we get the same answer, but forget it. Here, erase this 3 right here. Okay? And we're just going to do x minus 2. All right? That was an oversight on my part. I should have been more prepared. Anyway, so we're just going to do x minus 2, okay? So looking at this, if I was to ask you, what is the 0 for that? If x minus 2 equals 0, what would x equal? X would equal 2, right? So you always put the 0 right here. So if you have the binomial x minus 2, you're going to put a positive 2 right there. Okay? So here we go. This tells you how many x cubes we have. This tells you how many x squareds we have. This tells you how many x's we had. And this tells you how many x to the zeros you had, right? X to the first powers. Once we run it through this machine, it's going to drop everything down by a power. Okay, so I'll show you. Ready? Bring the 3 down. Okay. Multiply, you get 6. Combine, you get 10. Multiply, you get 20. Combine, you get 13. Multiply, you get 26. And then combine, you get 27. Okay? So now, here's the cool thing. Compared to this, watch how quickly this goes. X cubes, we had 3x cubes. Now, once you run it through the machine, we drop a power. So now this 3 represents 3x squareds. I dropped a power from the x cubes to x squareds. Okay? Then we have plus 10. What? This was x squareds. Now it's 10 just x's. Okay? Plus 13, this was x to the power of 1, now it's an x to the power of 0, so just 13, right? Plus, what do you think this 27 is right there? That's right, it's my remainder, okay? So you don't put r27, you put the 27 divided by what you were dividing with, the x minus 2, okay? And that's how you do synthetic division. All right, so let me give you one more problem. We're going to do this again, okay? And again, just watch my notes over and over if you're stuck, okay? Just watch them again. I'm going to do one more example. Ready? All right, so part C. I'm going to factor completely, then find all zeros. All right, we'll factor completely, then find all zeros. So here's my example. All right, my polynomial is x cubed plus 6x squared plus 5x minus 12. All right, have fun factoring that completely. Haha, I'm just joking. I'm going to show you where to start, okay? Today I'm just going to tell you where to start, okay? I'm going to tell you use x plus 4. All right? Today I'm giving you that. The next time we meet, I will show you how to figure out what to use, okay? But for now, just to make your life a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and tell you to use that, okay? Now, is this a binomial that starts with just x? Yeah, okay? Earlier when I said only works with dividing by binomials, I meant binomials of that type where the leading coefficient is 1. Okay, so we're in good shape. I'm going to use synthetic division. Here we go. So this is 1, 6, 5, negative 12. I'm going to use x plus 4, so what do I put right here? That's right, use minus 4. You always use the 0, okay? So we already know, remember it says factor completely and find all zeros? We already know that one of the zeros hopefully is negative 4, and I'll show you why you know that in a second. Ready? Here's why. Bring down the 1, multiply, combine it, you get 2, multiply, you get negative 8, combine it, you get negative 3, multiply, you get positive 12, and guess what? You combine it, you get 0. Guess what that 0 means right now? Remember this last number is always the remainder, right? It's always the remainder. So if your remainder is 0, what do you know about this when I divide it by this? It means it goes into it evenly. Watch this. Let me show you with this. Was 5 a factor of 5,372? No, it wasn't because there was a remainder. It didn't go into it evenly. Okay, so 5 was not a factor. In this case, since we ended with a 0 here, we know that x plus 4 was a factor, and thus we know that negative 4 is indeed a 0. Okay, now here's the best part. Ready? This told you that you had 1x cubed. This guy right now means we have 1x squared. Okay, now just go down. Plus 2x minus 3. Okay, plus 0 remainder. Okay, and now here's the cool thing. Remember it says factor completely and find all zeros? Factor completely. Well, we couldn't factor this earlier, okay? So now I've already discovered that x plus 4 is a factor. Here's how I get the other factors. I'll give you a hint. Just factor it, okay? X and x. What times what gives you 3? 1 times 3. Multiply the insides, 1x. Multiply the outsides, 3x. How many x's am I trying to get? 2 of them. So if it's a positive 3 and a negative 1, I get 2. So negative 1, positive 3. Here are my other 2 factors. Okay, so watch this. Here are my factors. I'm going to list them all. My factors are this one right here, x plus 4. Okay, here's my other factor, x minus 1. And here's my other factor, x plus 3. Here's a quick question. What will I get if I multiply this times this times this? If you said this, then you are correct. All right, good job. And here are my zeros. Negative 4, positive 1, and negative 3. Those are my zeros. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. I will see you guys soon.